In this episode, you'll learn how to master conversational marketing to increase your reach, deepen your relationships with clients, prospects, and more with Genius Network and strategic coach member John Bowen. John is CEO and founder of CEG Worldwide and is often regarded as the top coach for financial advisors and a leader in the financial services industry. Recorded live for the Genius Network event. If you would like access to the full feature video presentation, the special resources, and the show notes for this episode, please visit 10xtalk.com/111. That's 10xtalk.com/111.
All right. So, John Bowen. Well, first off, John is, as far as I know, the top coach in the world for financial advisors. Kind of like how Dan is the top coach in the world for successful entrepreneurs, John Bowen is that for the financial services industry. So let me just get it exactly right. He founded CEG Worldwide, the #1 coaching firm for top financial advisors in 2000, with the goal of bringing to bear the lessons he had learned during his career for the benefit of financial advisors and the institutions that work with advisors. His 26 years as a financial advisor and investment firm CEO has taught Bowen that many advisors lack the high-quality empirical data and pragmatic business experience necessary to build hugely successful businesses. And he's a 25K member and a handsome fellow. So please give it up for John Bowen. This dude is awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
No, I had the good fortune to join Dan's, I think it was the first premier program. I thought it was a great idea. I just raised the price during the downturn in the market to recover the revenue. And I joined. And one of the best things about any of these meetings is the networking opportunities. I met Joe at that meeting. And really my presentation, we've been getting a lot of inspiration. I want to share with you kind of application of some of these inspirational ideas. And great experience working with Dan. And then I get to Joe's. And everybody's talking about PPC and search engine optimization, and none of that do I know. I have no idea what this is. This is 2.5 years ago. They're talking about big database. I think I can cobble together 7,000 advisors. The challenge was that in my mailing list is that I did it all corporate. So we'd go to the biggest corporate, the big brokerage firms and banks, and we would coach 30 to 100 advisors. We charge the companies anywhere from $17,000 to $24,000 to do the coaching program per person. Okay, so it's their top 1%, 2%, 3%. Phenomenal business. But I have no list. And the motivation, let me do it kind of as a case study here. Let's set the stage. We call it conversational marketing internally. What I'm not on, I'm pushing. There we go. Okay, so here's a challenge. Anybody notice the market went down in 2008, 2009? Okay, I did. Our corporate clients, some of them stopped returning phone calls. The day before Lehman, the weekend they went under, I was there Friday to put together a crisis coaching program for them. We never got paid on that. There were a number of checks that never came until the TARP money showed up, and then money came. So, as a free market guy, I felt guilty about taking it. But anyways, the concept was all of a sudden our revenue dropped 45%. We have a virtual business. I have no employees and all independent contractors. And I loved what I was hearing Joe and really all of you were sharing with me of how to market, in my mind, direct. Because my corporate clients had stopped calling me back. And it was a great business. I thought, it'd come back and all that. But how do I go from 7,000 and build what many of you have? So the desire was to go ahead and diversify as a coach. There we go. And had really no knowledge. That's one of the reasons why I went to Joe's. And the program I'm with Dan on and Babs, it's about a third information marketing people. So I went ahead and I said, okay, let's take these ideas. You might have to advance it for me. And I don't know if Brendan's still here. Brendan, I attended his expert academy while I'm going to Joe's and Dan's stuff. And then Jeff Walker is also in our strategic coach program. Got a chance to meet with Jeff. And these were the guys I kind of listened to. And then I went and I said, okay, where do we go from here? And we had a classic marketing. We were pretty good at marketing. Now taught at grad school, taught investment theory in grad school. So I figured, okay, let's go from there. And where do we go? I got to buy some technology. And let me go. I'm going to give you a novel idea, I think, that I haven't seen anybody using in 25K. I went from 7,000 to now, 2 years later, I have 420,000 people that have all the data in my market of everybody. And I want to share, it was just 2 ideas I'm going to share with you through this case study that so far this year has made me $1.5 million. I think it will make me over 10 million over the next 24 months. To do this, though, then I said, okay, I've got the corporate side. I now know information marketing. I do know what PPC stands for. I looked around the table at the 25K, and I'm hearing all this great stuff on affiliate, but none of them have financial advisors as clients. So I can't do affiliate. Couldn't see any other way. So I knew I had to market direct, and I got to get a list. Went out and did the research. I did buy Infusionsoft. I found out that you actually have to have everybody opt in. I'm not patient. I didn't want to wait to have everybody. I sent a mailer for, I think I sent 80,000 out. I got a list, sent 80,000 to financial advisors, and they have a term, red flag or something. I got a call from Infusionsoft saying, did anybody read it? And there was one in Joe's group, there was a guy, one of the guys that was a founder of Infusionsoft. And I asked him, he said, John, you definitely didn't read it, did you? But anyway, so I bought a different software, Eloqua. If you haven't looked at marketing automation, to me, it's the next level up. Eloqua, Marketo, HubSpot, much more integrated. Salesforce decided we got rid of our CRM. So anytime anybody looks at any of my web properties, I know exactly what they've looked at, how long they were on it, level of engagement. I can score them now based on we have predictive software, their income, ABCD, and their level of engagement looking at our stuff. In addition, what we do is we survey, do a lot of research. I was spending $300,000 a year doing phone surveys. Now with this database, I don't. And then the last part, I do a lot of webinars and time trade, real cheap software, $250 a year. I have 97% of the people just schedule their appointment with me during the webinar that they're going to meet with us. So we don't have to call or chase them down. So it's an idea to think about. I needed a list, so I went out and looked at the media partner. I would encourage you to go out and talk to media partners. They're desperate for content. Number one media partner in financial services, there's 460,000 financial advisors. I went out to this one company owns these 3 publications and said, I will provide you content because we do research, and I'll do a series of webinars. You can resell it. I don't care what you do with it. You keep 100% of the money. It's something magical when you say 100% of the money. They're okay with that. And we went ahead and we did some webinars. I do monthly webinars. At Brendan's event, I met Bo Eason, great storytelling. Bo and I have partnered. I don't have his numbers in this, but I think since Bo and I have done workshops together, maybe 700,000, maybe a little more than that of income came in. And these monthly webinars go out to the financial advisors. This would be typical now of what we're doing. You can see the statistics there. They mail for me, I have no control over this, 140,000 emails to people who have enough money and meet our profile, okay? I do not pay anything for this. 821 registered for this, 348 showed up. This is actually a lower number showing up. Replay 69, average duration. They're 60-minute webinars. We pre-record them. Use Wirecast, love Wirecast. And 33 scheduled during the event for an hour appointment to explore working with us. I've also had to get, one of the things I love about this is networking. Obviously, I knew Dan beforehand, but Dan, we put together, he did a webinar, very successful. Mark, is Mark around? Mark Goodman? Yeah, Mark and I, we met, created a product together, did a webinar. We're doing a number of things. Just really successful. I'm actually looking for content. Now, there's been a ton of content, so I've got a lot of parts, but I shared with Steve Forbes. Steve said, yeah, I'd love to do a webinar with you. I mean, that's, it's pretty amazing. Thank you, Joe, for that. Now, the thing, I started loving this stuff, and here's the problem. I don't own the database. So I said, I do research. Why don't I go out to one of the database companies that has aggregated all the advisors? So I approached the companies, 2 major players, Meridian IQ. There is in every niche, there is a player. I'm in the process of doing it, and I'll share it in a second for other niches. You can see the numbers. There's 446,000 that they have. They manage those advisors $22 million or trillion dollars of financial assets, 22 trillion. I approached them and I said, how about we do a lot of high-profile webinars? Why don't I go ahead? I'll create research. You can come on during the webinars when I use your data. But I want to have complete access to use your data in any format that I want. They agreed. So basically, they gave me all their data. And so we wrote some white papers. They did some webinars with us. My surveys, I sent out 420,000 emails last week. I have 2,000 completed surveys. They're intense, detailed surveys. It would cost me, if I called trying to get that in today's market, $150,000 if I had my research group calling. It cost me $22,000 to do everything. So surveys, unbelievable. Every one of those got a nice bonus, kind of like what Brendan was talking about. We're not selling anything. They get a whole bunch of free stuff, and then they go into campaigns. So, it's just a great relationship. In addition, I didn't have a newsletter. I now have a newsletter. Top 20% of the advisors, it's almost 80% of the highest earning advisors are on a weekly subscription with me, 73,000. Also, I mentioned that we do lead profiling. This marketing automation, it's unbelievable the detail that goes on, and it all goes into your CRM. So the value that I'm building and the knowledge on this market is just, to me, amazing. What have been the results? I just want to focus on the webinars because I've also, out of hanging out with Joe and Dan, I went from not having a mastermind group to I have a mastermind group now with 150 people paying $15,000 a year in. And they have to have already gone through my $17,000 to $24,000 coaching program. I believe in the next 24 months, I'll have 400 in that. So again, a lot of lessons learned. Advertising, the media partner also gives me full page ads in all their publications. Okay, it's probably worth about $500,000. I put down 360. I wouldn't buy them. This includes, we've done 7 months of this. We're now hitting 33, but I didn't want to oversell the benefit. We've averaged, because we didn't get our act together in the beginning, call to action wasn't as clear. 12 phone appointments every week coming in. So they've scheduled those, and the typical, what we're averaging per week, counting the bad weeks in the beginning, was 34,000 a week. We're now, I think we're going to average somewhere around 200,000. Dean, I'm not at 3 million. I want to spend some time with you more at the meetings. But it's really hanging out with those people like Dean, the inspiration. You can see when you have these statistics, everybody's talking about statistics, I can see how I can do it now. So we're analyzing. Tony was your Google AdWords thing was very inspirational as well. Research costs 320 to 80, huge savings. 4 white papers, unbelievable amount of content we're doing. And 7,000 going out monthly. Now I have 74,000 going out weekly. Website automation, and just from the webinars, a minimum of $1.6 million of net income coming in. Let's go one more step. Lessons learned that I would do as a takeaway, because I've actually started another company because of this success. Number one, I'd find strategic partners. It's kind of crazy we don't do that. 2, great content to bring out to them. 3, go ahead and get them to raise their hand. Last thing is that out of this, all the lessons I've learned, I just started another company. It hasn't launched only because it's regulated, so we had to file all the things so that we can basically create a dating service. We're going to bring together successful families that we're going to use marketing automation, conversational marketing, to raise their hands, to find an advisor in their local market, to do a second opinion. And we have all the top advisors, or very close to the top advisors, working with us. That's it. Thank you.